A magnitude 5.6 earthquake shook buildings in Taiwan on Thursday morning, as a series of temblors hit the island, causing little damage but possibly portending more seismic activity in the near future. According to Associated Press, the biggest of the quakes hit at 10:11 a.m. in Chiayi County's Dapu township at a depth of 10 kilometers, according to the Central Weather Agency and the U.S. Geological Survey. The epicenter was about 250 kilometers south of the capital, Taipei, where buildings swayed slightly. That was followed shortly afterward by at least a dozen smaller quakes in Dapu. No damage or casualties were immediately reported. All were aftershocks from a magnitude 6.4 earthquake that struck Dapu on January 21 and sent 15 people to the hospital with minor injuries and damaged buildings and a highway bridge. In Tainan City, the outer wall on an abandoned building fell and hit 2 cars on the roadside, but no one was injured or trapped, local media reported. In Chiayi, rocks and boulders which fell from a mountain blocked a highway. A landslide occurred in the mountainous area of Nanxi district, in Tainan, and dust and sand were seen falling from the mountain. There are no reports of casualties so far. Taiwan is going through a period of increased seismic activity that could lead to further aftershocks or new quakes, according to the CWA and earthquake experts. Taiwan lies along the Pacific Ring of Fire, the line of seismic faults encircling the Pacific Ocean from Chile to New Zealand, where most of the world's earthquakes occur.
Successful attacks by the Ukrainian defense forces on military facilities located on Russian territory could lead to the withdrawal of air defense systems from the occupied territories and the humiliation of Kremlin dictator Vladimir Putin. This was stated by Anatoly Krapchinsky, deputy director of a Ukrainian company producing electronic warfare equipment, on air at Radio NV. In fact, I want to note that here it is most likely not even on his knees, but a more complex form of mockery will be directed at Putin, humiliation, because in fact, here we need to understand that the Russian Federation is significantly losing its logistical component in the long term, and this will lead to what we saw when the troops approached Kiev. That is, we saw that they were left without any weapons and could not work, the expert said. He noted that the strategic purpose of strikes on military facilities of the Russian Federation is to weaken the aggressor country from within. Successful strikes demonstrate, among other things, that Russia currently lacks a sufficient amount of air defense, which was previously moved to the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine, where it was destroyed or operates and interferes with the work of the Ukrainian Armed Forces aviation component. However, attacks by the defense forces, specifically on important military targets of the Russian Federation, may lead to the enemy starting to pull back some air defense systems. As the expert noted, for example, in order to try to protect the Moscow region, where certain factories producing electronics for military needs and the like are located. Krapchinsky recalled that the enemy is actively using air defense on the front line, increasing the production of drones, even simple ones like Molnia, launching terrorist attacks on the Kharkiv region using FPV drones on frontline and border settlements of Ukraine and the like. It should be noted the attacks on Russian military facilities increase discontent in Russian society. Let us recall that on the night of January the 14th, Ukraine launched a massive combined attack on the territory of the Russian Federation. Aviation expert and manufacturer of electronic warfare equipment, Anatoly Krapchinsky, said that aircraft, artillery installations for launching ATACMS missiles, and unmanned systems were used. According to him, given the distance, it becomes clear that 1,000 kilometers is no longer a problem for Ukraine to overcome them using its own developments. At the same time, the expert noted that the main thing in this attack is not the explosions and fires, but the result. Each such attack has strategic significance for the occupiers. Russia has launched an anchor attack war against Europe. Ukrainian Navy spokesperson Dmytro Pletenchuk said Russia may have mastered a new anchor type of attack, as evidenced by the damage to an undersea fiber optic cable in the Baltic Sea. According to him, Russia is afraid to act openly in the Baltic Sea because it lacks any advantages there, and the sea itself has become NATO's internal sea. Moreover, they could find themselves in a real blockade there. However, regarding these cases and hybrid methods of influencing neighbors, I was inclined to believe it was accidental. From a practical standpoint, carrying out such actions deliberately is quite difficult, but the growing number of incidents suggests that this is likely some kind of tactic. It seems they have mastered a new form of attack called the anchor attack, which aligns with what we are witnessing, Pletenchuk said. He also believes the frequency of such incidents, which had never occurred in such numbers before, may indicate a pattern, though proving this is quite challenging. This is another version of "they are not there," but now in a maritime context. The spokesperson summarized. Recall on December the 3rd, 2024, an internet cable between Finland and Sweden was severed. The cable was damaged, but the cause of the accident was unknown. Later, Finland's national electricity grid operator, Fingrid, reported damage to the Estlink 2 submarine power cable connecting Finland and Estonia. On December the 26th, Finnish authorities detained the ship Eagle S, which was transporting Russian oil in the Baltic Sea. The vessel is suspected of damaging the undersea power cable connecting Finland and Estonia, as well as 4 internet lines. A few days later, Finnish police announced they had found traces stretching for dozens of kilometers along the Baltic seafloor, where the tanker carrying Russian oil is suspected of damaging the power line and 4 telecommunications cables with its anchor. As of January the 6th, 2 submarine communication cables belonging to the Elisa company between Finland and Estonia, damaged on December the 25th, 2024, had been repaired. A day later, the Swedish Navy reported successfully recovering the anchor of the Eagle S tanker. Previously, on November the 18th, it was also reported that the Sea Lion 1 submarine cable, stretching 1,173 kilometers between Finland and Germany, had been severed in the Baltic Sea.